What is the best thing to come out of Iowa? I-80 West. Brian Knudsen. What's going on, everybody? Fall in, add attention. You are locked into another episode of the Husker Army podcast. Former Husker wide receiver, multi-time national champ Kenny Cheatham.
This dude, y'all don't understand, this dude whooped the whole team.
Our recruiting expert and guru, Matt Sass.
Like Will Compton said, the school of the blind. A win is an understatement.
What is going on, everybody? Fall in, add attention. You are locked into another episode of the Husker Army podcast, where you can now find us over at the characterchronicles.com. You will find all the Husker Army podcast content over there, as well as YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you find all that. And, of course, as always, you get a chance. DM us over on social media at Husker Army Pod. That would be X, Instagram, now TikTok. And if you've got any questions, just DM us, or you can now email us there at huskerarmypod@yahoo.com. And just one last reminder, this is the last time I'm going to bring this up because, for God's sake, whether we get them back or not is yet to see. But we're back on X. It's really us, everybody. So if you're thinking it's still the imposter, no, we got our handle back. The only thing we have to go through is getting our followers back. That's it. We were at like 1.5 or 1.7 thousand, and I think we're sitting at like 40 or 50 something right now. So for God's sake, folks, help us out. We need you. All right, so let's get rolling, everybody. I'm Brian Knudsen. With me, as always, former Husker wide receiver, multi-time national champ Kenny Cheatham, our recruiting guru and expert, Mr. Matt Sass, a.k.a. Herbie Husker, and our guest today, everybody. This man has quite the following. So if you don't know who he is, I don't know what the hell you've been up to. And especially if you're a Broncos fan, you probably do know this man. From the 5280 podcast, excuse me, Mr. Cameron Parker. Cameron, how you doing, man?
Doing good. I'm also trying to, survive the heat over here in Colorado. I mean, it's not been like in the 100s, if you will, but when it's regularly in the 90s. And the air quality has been relatively bad because of the fires that have been down here. It's pretty rough right now. But knock on wood, the air quality has been great today. And
for now,
yeah. So yes. So far, things are good and we're surviving. So it's always a blast to get a chance to talk Husker football. And actually, as I was saying in the green room, this is the first time I'm actually doing a full-time Husker-related podcast. The last time I ever did anything like this was a crossover when the Nebraska was playing CU. Twice a couple of years back, and so there's a guy who does Broncos content and Buffs content. His name is David Talks Buffs, David Talks Broncos, and so when we did that, we were doing our crossovers from there. So that was the only time that I actually had an opportunity to talk even relatively close to Husker full time.
Yeah, you've got more balls than I do on that one, Cameron, because I could never, ever collab with a Colorado or an Iowa podcast. I just couldn't because it would be nonstop cursing all the way through. I wouldn't listen to a word they'd have to say. I'd shoot down everything they had to say.
The whole
it
show.
Would be the whole way.
They'd come down to be like,
dudes.
Come on, come find me in Fremont, bitch.
Exactly. That's exactly how it would go, dude. I'd end up doxing myself.
It'd be horrible.
Well,
I dox myself, dude.
I will say, because when I talk about my sports fandom, I have to at least have the friends in that aspect, just because where it really deviates is the Husker fandom. I'm a Denver sports person through and through, and then you get to college football, and it's like, nope, sorry. This is where the allegiance completely goes out the window.
Yes.
With the Husker fandom, and I have my dad to thank for that. He was born in Omaha. His mom went to UNL. And she's a grad. So unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you want to look at it, he created the monster in me. When I was born in '87. So it's.
Thank you, Mr. Parker.
Yeah.
It's like I tell Kenny, because Kenny, when he was being recruited, He was thinking about Colorado because he liked the colors.
Black
I always
uniform.
tell him. Exactly. I always told him, had you
Black
done
and gold.
that, me and you'd never know each other, man. Matter of fact, I would have hated you.
The black unis, man. The sweet.
Black and gold.
The only time I root for anything out of Colorado, and I tell this to everybody, is when Colorado State plays Colorado, I root for Colorado State. Then after that game's over, I don't care.
Not to mention they have like one of the best mascots in the world. Not that I'm named Cameron or whatever, but like and it's named Cam the Ram. So they have one of the best mascots in the world. So,
oh God, I love it. All right, so I mean, everybody may not know because if they're Husker fans, you're doing a lot of Broncos content. I mean, how did that come about, man? How did that even start? What was the idea for it?
So I went to school obviously for a journalism major, and we all know journalism is writing. But and I was very fortunate to have a minor, which was motion media, and then from there with the local school here. I was fortunate to be wrapped into doing sports shows, calling games for our local college. And so that's kind of like really where it grew from there. And then after that, I started a show called the Cameron Parker Show for the longest time. Kind of like grew that one a little bit, created some people within the network because networking is a big thing. And doesn't matter what business you're in, networking is like the biggest thing. And so I just got
who you know, man.
Yeah, and so from there, I networked, with some people, and the Cameron Parker Show, as hard as it was, ended up being rebranded to the Manely Broncos podcast, which is MANELY, not MAN or MAINLY, right? MAN for the horse's mane. And so we actually started separate from the network that we are a part of now, and it's all audio form. And the thing that's great about it, but also kind of stinks a little bit when and you guys know, and doing shows, whether it's been live or even recorded, it's just when it's recorded, we can see each other's reactions. But when it's live streamed and stuff like that, they can't necessarily see some of these incredible reactions or facial, expressions that just turn the show from like good to great in a matter of 2 seconds because of that. And so as things are kind of like winding down and stuff like with that, it was like, man, I feel like this thing needs to go to streaming. And so we were decent enough with the exposure, and at that point I had joined the MHRT network for the 5280 podcast, and so I just kind of asked it and stuff like that, and like, hey, do you mind if we hop in, do a streamed show over there on the network? And they were gracious, they accepted us, and we already had kind of an audio following, right? Because already people like had the audio following, so it's just at that point you're accepting the streaming audience for what they already had, plus probably your audio listeners and stuff like that. So it seemed like a really seamless decision and stuff like that. So it's been an absolute blast, and obviously I love being on air. So it's just it's been a blessing so far since day one.
Yeah, we're kind of trying to follow your blueprint here. I mean, Matt and myself were. Yeah, we were fortunate enough and lucky enough this morning. This will come out tomorrow on a Monday, but Sunday morning, we were fortunate enough to join Sherry and Mike Warhol over at 93.7 The Ticket for their show What's Next. And it was an amazing time getting to tell like our passion of fandom in Husker Nation, getting to share how we started the podcast. Kenny, we gave you crap for not being up early enough. So
no, don't blame you. They was a little early.
No. Sherry was the one that flipped you a little crap, but it was very harmless.
Hey, I was on that last rotation of turns and snoring at that time. Can't help you.
If it was once a week type thing, I could probably handle that as long as my wife is cool with it. But
Yeah,
that's a whole different piece in itself. But we'll have that conversation down the road if anything comes
exactly. Yeah, some of these pictures, I mean, they were kind enough to take pictures of us outside. We've got some of them from inside studio. It was really cool to see how a full radio show is run, to watch Harrison behind the scenes running the board, paying attention to comments, things like that are coming in. It was really
for like to move to
yes,
commercials, and it's like, man,
dude, and
I
to
would
watch
not
how
want to be a
tight of a
disc
ship
jockey,
that it's run.
but yeah, he was good.
And yes,
He was really good.
we were fortunate enough as well to have a good talk with Derek Pearson, who's the owner of 93.7 The Ticket. And we'll be talking again here at the beginning of August. And we'll see. That's all we can say right now. We'll see. So, Cameron, what you've done, man, my God, for one, 8,000 followers on X alone. I mean, holy hell, dude. I could only hope for those numbers for us. We got, what, a little over an eighth of the way there. So, but what's it been like growing that following, dude, and realizing that people really want to see what you're doing?
I think one of the biggest things for me as I've been growing like the following base, and whether it's been doing this or just, you know, twiddling the thumbs and posting stuff, you know, over there on Twitter or X. But it's just, you know, it's just been the biggest thing for me is being authentic.
But remember, be yourself.
And I think that I've carried a lot of that over to the shows and everything that I do on the Broncos side of things. It's just, if you are not showing your authentic self, then people are going to catch on pretty dang quickly.
Yep.
And so if you are if you're, you know, authentic and you are really showing exactly who you are in everything that you're doing, that's really, you know, one of the biggest things that every, you know, person would probably want to care about. And obviously, if you know sports and stuff, and I think that's probably obviously, you know, part of it too. But it's just when you're relatable, you're authentic, and you are yourself all these years, I think people will gain a lot of respect for that. Because they know that they can talk shop with you, they can talk sports with you, they can talk, you know, really anything with you. And so, you know, when you are with former players or current players or stuff like that, when you treat them like human beings, when you're actually in a room together, that even carries a lot more weight all those years too. So it's just, you know, so it's just it's a big deal when you can kind of, you know, truly be your authentic self and not some phony, if you will.
Yep. Adding to that, that's kind of why when we have guests on, I try not to have a phone call with them or a FaceTime or anything like that, except maybe text conversation until we're on here. I want our first face-to-face to be on here, because then it's like you said, it's authentic. You're literally getting to know each other during the episode.
Right.
And that's exactly what I like. Because, then it just feels like you said on What's Next this morning, Matt, it's just a conversation. It's three buddies sitting around talking football. That's it.
Like I said, what we're going to do anyways if we were together.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
We were sitting the fuck around anyway. This is what we'd be doing.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's like for mainly Broncos' sake. That's one of the reasons why I think I did some self-reflection for our show. And then obviously it's like, I think you have guidelines for how you want to operate the show, but also I think at times those guidelines can also provide relatively like a strict workflow to a degree. And so like if you're if you're not really, and specifically for a podcast format or a streaming format, the one thing I kind of found out quickly when doing it is like, if you're allowing them to be themselves, you're going to allow yourself to be that way too as these shows are progressing. And so it's just like, so that was like one of the other things, like in the last 5 years of doing the show of Mainly Broncos, that it was just like, it is way better for people to just be themselves, you know, and just be them carefree selves, if you will, on these shows. Because that at the end of the day, it's like as I said earlier, if they're seeing that, they're gonna follow that any day.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We don't have guidelines.
I was gonna say,
No,
yeah,
we fly by the
We
seat of our
does.
pants every episode.
I just got done drinking a beer.
right. Well, it's like because like when I'm starting out
Oh.
like in college, like they have these things called rundowns,
Yeah.
like
Oh,
and stuff like that, and so it's just like, you got to go, okay, we're gonna talk about this in the first segment, we're gonna talk about this in the third segment, so on and so forth, and it's just like, and then you kind of like you start adopting that a little bit when you do streams and podcasts, and it's just like, okay, it's great for a time, but like,
Yep.
so often when you're doing streams, it's like every fifth conversation is taking you to a completely different, sort of thing that you ever probably planned to talk about. Because one, if you're doing it live, you might be getting breaking news,
mm-hmm.
or two, the thought process of everything that you've been talking about leads you to somewhere else.
I love the rabbit holes.
Yeah.
Yep. It's like me. I'm constantly checking my phone while we're recording too, just to make sure if there's any bit of information coming out, we can immediately talk about it. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we try to stay as up to date as possible. I mean, when it's really slow, it's hard to. Then you just kind of come up with your own things, which
I can relate.
Yeah, we love doing that because then we can just kind of piss and moan about whatever we want to, bitch about this, praise that. Is what's this gonna be? What's this gonna be like? Shit, I don't know. We'll fucking figure it out sooner or later.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's it. It's kind of that's exactly, Matt, why I called that fucking show I did a while back called The Spinoff, because
Yep.
it always spun off the topic. It was gone. Forget it. But Cameron, I wanted to have you on here, man, because for one, you do an excellent job at what you do, man. So I can't praise you enough on everything you've already accomplished. But I came across an article, and luckily it was this morning I came across it, but it was put out yesterday. Okay, it was put out yesterday by Sports Illustrated. And just this right here was the headline. Where are you at? There it is. 3 reasons to believe Nebraska's offense can be one of the best in college football. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to have a small issue with that. I don't think I'd go so far as to say our offense has the potential to be one of the best in college football this year, but I think it has the potential to have vastly improved from last year. So, I mean, first things first, we'll get to number 1 here. They say Anthony Calandria is better than Dylan Raiola for Nebraska.
What was this in? What was this in?
Oh,
Calandria is better than Dylan Raiola for Nebraska.
This was in Sports Illustrated?
This is SI. Okay. All right, that's the first one. So let's start with that. I mean, Cameron, I'll start with you. In my opinion, I agree with that. For Nebraska, AC is a much better fit than Dylan is.
I think the key word is for Nebraska.
I
think that's the key word, because I think Dylan Raiola is a very good quarterback. Like, I think he is a very good quarterback. He's a very talented quarterback. But as we all know, fit is also everything.
Yes.
And I think as the season was winding down and everything, it just seemed like the fit was not the best. It seemed, obviously, in the whole recruitment process, emotions and everything like that, you can't really take the emotions out of something. And so, I respect the decision that he had. Unfortunately, just as the season was progressing and the offensive line issues, etc., it just was not the perfect fit. And it was, and for as much as there was praise early on between Dana Holgorsen and Dylan Raiola, even that just seemed to sour as the season was kind of progressing a little bit more. And it did kind of scream some bad news, if you will, for Dylan, for the way TJ Lateef came in on his very first start and just played probably out of his mind. In like the first game. but obviously, he didn't play. Latif didn't play all that great. As the season was winding down. But like,
Yeah.
for your first game in a Rose Bowl in that kind of environment, and you're playing the way you did there, it says a lot.
That's why we were so excited.
Yeah, and so for the overall fit, but I just think that it still falls on fit too, and it's just when you think as far as everything this team had been lacking in the explosiveness department at quarterback, it's kind of funny in a way where we're kind of going back to the idea of the dual threat, right? Like
Yep.
the era that we did have and what was sadly missed, if you will, in that era, which was the Adrian Martinez era, because when you have that kind of capability of the dual threat where you can throw it if you need to that freshman year and you can run it the way that you can in the quarterback position, I think it's going to matter. And so I think that for Calandry, if you can operate within the offense of everything that Dana Holgerson is going to be giving you, and I just saw too that he's going to be given some of the plays that he would operate at UNLV, which really made him successful. There at UNLV, I think that's going to go a long ways for him and his relationship with Holgerson. And I think that one of my future takes, if you will, is I think that there will be a quarterback that will be gone next season, but I think a lot of that is going to end up being because Calandry will stay one more year due to the eligibility.
With the 5 for 5.
Yeah.
It's
And
possible.
And one of those quarterbacks, if you will be gone. And I will say I think it's sadly I will say I think it's sadly TJ Latif.
Yeah,
So
I think especially with Trey coming in.
Yeah. But I just think the overall fit for this team is going to be perfect for what they ideally want to run. And I think the other part of it, too, that stems from it is for what we saw and how effective, as much as it was the entire Emma Johnson show, if you will, they were running the ball effectively. And so if you add the running the ball effectively with what appears to be an improved offense line, we'll get to that, too. But it's just like when you factor that in with the just the wide receiver room and possibly working together, as a unit more cohesively, I think that's going to matter a little bit more in the long run than just, how can we fit this around one quarterback and one quarterback only?
Mm-hmm. Now, Kenny, I want to throw this to you as well, man, because your time here, you got to see the best of the best as far as running quarterbacks go. So, you look at Calandria, you see the highlights, he can move, he can extend plays, he can create plays. If we didn't have that with Dylan. So, what SI is saying there, it's damn no-brainer, dude. So, do you look for, especially Holgerson, who has been dying to have a mobile quarterback? You could tell he's been just foaming at the mouth to have one. Do you think this is the type of offense that Holgerson's been wanting, and Calandria is going to be that guy to pull it together?
I don't know, because I'm kind of the wrong person to ask about this Holgerson dude. I don't believe in him. I can't tell you shit about him, honestly.
Yeah.
I just know everybody talked about he was a former head coach and came in with all this hype and blah, 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 blah. Shit, show me. I don't want to hear I don't want to hear jack shit about him, his coaching, what he was supposed to do with Dylan. I don't want to hear shit. Show me. Enough talk. No more talk, as the word Andre Ward told Carl Froch. Enough is enough. I don't want to hear about the dude from UNLV and what he did at UNLV. Shit. Put your pads on, lace it up, and show me something better than 5 and 7. That's what I want to see. Show me something better than 6 and 6. So this best fit for Nebraska, what is our identity? We knew what it was last year. It was leaning on Emmett.
Yep.
So what are we going into the season? I'm saying all this because what are we going into the season as our identity as an offense? Are we even offense? Are we going to be more dominant on passing? Are we going to be tight end heavy? Are we going to be receiver heavy? Are we going to be zone blocking? What is our identity? I think
a more spread.
Yeah, so it's kind of confusing because we haven't had an identity in years.
Yeah.
in years. Now, Dylan was supposed to come in and open us up to more passing. But as Cameron said, as Brian has said, as Matt has said, like I said, Cameron just said, and I've been saying, at some point, we have to stop having the same conversation about our offensive line.
Yep.
We've been having that conversation about offensive line struggles for years.
Yep. Since Bo.
Like 10.
So we'll never know until we get that situation rectified.
Yep.
And that's just what it is, because if that's hampering everything, we'll never know what our offense could be. But so if they're saying he's the best fit based on what I know about him and what they're saying, matching him with Holgerson they're trying to do, then hopefully he is. Hopefully results put that out so it can be something we can see and something we can lean on. You know what I mean? So hopefully it is. But I mean, I just don't have an idea what our identity is as an offense, because we've yet to really fully see one. We didn't see it we knew it was under Scott. It was screens, bubble screens, and whatever.
The Blake man pitches to Sarge. The Sarge bumps into his own man. It's a fumble. Fumble-aya. Sarge Fumbleina Wilkerson fumbles the ball.
Not clowning, but that's what we saw.
Trying to be the Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there, and it was just like, okay, well, no,
you didn't have the horses to be that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when you have D'Anthony Thomas, I mean,
Marcus
and everybody else,
studs. And you also have an offensive line. You have top quarterbacks,
tight ends, receivers.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's different, man. It's just then. I mean, we supposed to be under Riley passing.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just honestly, my brothers, I'm just in a world of confusion.
You can tell we're getting close to the start of the season. Kenny's getting riled up, man.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully.
Yeah, go ahead, Matt. I mean, what's your thought on it, dude?
Well, I think the advantage on why that's coming out is because if our offensive line doesn't take another step forward, even though I think we're going to be much better at the offensive line position this year, but just the fact that he can extend plays a little bit more, get out of the pocket, extend, give his receivers more time to actually create. I'm sure that's exactly why they're probably saying that.
Well, I was going to save it for the third and final topic, but we've kind of brought him up enough now, so we might as well just bring it up. Let's see it right here. Oh, nope, I grabbed the wrong one. Guess what? Here we go. The offensive line is actually insane. Now, I think insane is the wrong word.
Yeah, I mean, good, yes, and I think it'll be very much improved this year. I'm very high on our offensive line.
I was gonna say I don't know if good is the word, but improved I think is like the right word.
The additions of Black and Tree.
Yeah. Well, and the next step that we're gonna see with Elijah Pritchett, Ned, he really came to his own, and Justin Evans. So I mean, I think they're good, but I think the appropriate word for me is improved.
Thank you.
Until you see it.
Yeah, but I will say, and like it as far and obviously like every single Husker media member has said this in a sense, if you will, but this is the best staff that Matt Rule will have put together.
Especially with Jeep Wade.
Exactly.
And so there was some optimism, if you will, with Tony White, if you will, at the defensive helm, but you were leaning on improvement, with Donovan, and we saw it somewhat, but it never hit that next threshold. In fact, it kind of fell flat on its face as well. There at the very end. So I think when you bring in essentially the offensive line version of a much higher expectation type of coach like like a Tony White, I think the hope is you're gonna be seeing much more improvement. And I think that also too, as much as I like the idea of bringing in and developing some of these guys like Sam Sledge and some of these other guys, etc., you also have to evaluate the room. And one of the biggest things that they have done, or Jeep Wade and Rule have done in looking at this room, for all intents and purposes, have basically retooled and remodeled that entire room with either transfer portal additions or even people within the recruiting cycle. And
Yep.
it doesn't really matter whether you're in college or if you're in the pros. If you are building your team from the trenches to the outside, more often than not, your team is going to be relatively successful starting from there. And I think that that's why I think the marriage of Wade and even Orich, hopefully he stays a little bit longer too, I think is going to be a big deal for the team strictly from the trenches aspect of it. So, and so I think that just from the improved side of things, I am very much excited because I do think Evans is one of the better, probably underrated centers in the entire college football. And Elijah Pritchett was considered before the season started to be at boundary of first round draft pick. So I think if you can be able to get him back to that form or close to that, you will see much more improvement, if you will. And obviously, Calanger's mobility and quick release is going to be a big part of that as well.
Yeah, adding on with what you're talking about with Pritchett, I was probably his biggest and loudest critic the start of last season. With the blocks he was missing, the penalties he was getting at crucial times. And then I don't know what happened. Something flipped that switch in his head because he completely did a 180. I don't think he had a penalty the rest of the season. I don't think he missed any blocks. He was putting pancakes down. And I completely 100% on this show publicly apologized to him for what I was saying before him because he fixed it. He proved me wrong.
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
And I was happy to be proved wrong. And with Evans as well, you're right, probably one of the best centers in college football right now. And if Pritchett himself, if he could play this whole next season, like he played that last half of last season, he's going to, you're right, first rounder.
Be a first or second rounder.
Yeah.
Even a third's okay, but just.
He's got size. He's got speed. He's got power.
The recruiting as well. You're right. They added Rex Waterman, Hayden Ainsworth, Claude and Puma. Claude was a huge addition. I've heard he's got a chance to even be in the rotation as a freshman. So
we'll see once camp starts.
It's going to be a hell of an improved offensive line, I think. I think finally, and you're right, Cameron, with Calandria being able to move around, that's going to help the O-line out. Jeep Wade's going to love that. So I don't know. Maybe there's a great marriage going on between Holgerson and Wade. Who knows?
Yep. The transfers coming in too. I mean,
Black and Tree.
We went from relatively young at the starters to almost veteran
in size too.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in size. They're like Tree's a big boy. Black's a big boy for a guard and starting as many games he did for Iowa State. So I think our offensive line will be a lot better next year.
Tree's rightfully named.
Yeah. Like a couple weeks ago, I even went as far to say, though, I think we will honestly have one of the best offensive lines in the Big Ten next year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping so.
And I really do. I really think that's going to happen, especially with Jeep, too. Because Jeep he's a phenomenal coach.
Yes. Now, Kenny, I wanted to bring the O-line up with you as well, because beginning of last season, before the first game, that's what we were talking about was how much we thought the O-line was going to be improved with the additions of Pritchett. And it didn't quite happen, Kenny. I mean, we saw against Akron, even though we got the shutout, we got stopped on 4th and 1 at the goal line by Akron. That shouldn't happen.
Shouldn't have never happened. Is my camera frozen up on you guys' end?
Yep.
It is, but I thought you were just staring at me.
Nah. Yeah, let me hit this button real quick.
That's a good picture.
Nah, bro. We ain't going to do that. Check this out, though. But, yeah, man. So, hopefully they're improved.
There it is.
That we called that early last year with those 4th and 1 stops. Wasn't it like twice in that game or something crazy? Where we were like,
I think so.
We were like, yo, wait a minute. That
the
can never
4th
happen.
And 1. That was like 4 straight downs inside 5, I think it was.
Yeah, well, we were like, hey, that should never happen.
No.
that should be offensive linemen licking their chops, knowing it's time to get physical, even more physical and nastier than you should be normally. And they had those stops, and we said that's going to be a problem if we can't do that all year, which ended up surmising what ended up happening with the offensive line throughout the year. Thank goodness Emmett was able to get some good runs, but and Raiola was taking the sacks, and when he ended up getting hurt, but now half of them were on him because he has the heavy ankles, as I'll say. He couldn't pick them up and put them down and get away. But hopefully with the new coaching staff, I know you guys hyped this guy up. Is he the one from San Diego State or something, the offensive line coach?
No, he's Georgia Tech.
Okay. So
first rounder in the last year's draft.
Orich is the defensive coordinator.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to put it like this with all the new coaches and all the players. I mean, with every topic we talk about, every one of us has done math problems, right?
Yep.
We old school math, not this new shit where they're doing shit at angles and I don't even know what it is. My nephew showed me something. I said, man, you're doing way too much for this. Bing, bang, boom, bang, boom. There's your answer. So I'm just going to say this, like we were all taught. And this was my problem in every course I took in school. I would write the answer. And you know what the teachers would tell me? Show your work.
Yep.
Show me the work. If we're saying you're going to do this and this is what you're coming in, because we can all come in. It's almost like when they go in there and they talk about what they can do. It's like all of us, when we go into a situation, if we go into an interview, you have to put your best face on.
Absolutely.
And we're going to say everything that we can do to help to make the situation better. Why are we the asset to your company? So the coaches are saying why they're the asset to the Nebraska program.
Mm-hmm.
Don't show me your work at your other place. I need to see your work here.
Yep.
So now I can talk about the offensive line coach. Now Georgia Tech they've always been rough in the trenches. They pretty much was still formatting Nebraska's offense with passing implemented for years. Yeah. Rough, tough, in the trenches, linemen, nastiness, vicious, option
football.
I think they just stopped doing that a couple years ago.
Yeah, it wasn't long.
Yeah, so, I mean, hey, if he can get that line to be vicious and we have the size and they believe in what they can do and they're being coached up, I think it opens up the offense tremendously. And this is going back, like I said, the little I know about Hogarth, whatever his name is, with the passing and, dual threats. But it's going to circle around to, are we going to be effective with that line with running?
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of what was done with Emmett was will.
Yeah. It was Emmett.
Yeah. It was with the will. I mean, you know what I mean? So I just want to wait and see, fellas, because I'm hoping we have a good year because I don't want to start drinking again. I had a beer for the first time in a long time. I had a Miller Lite.
Oh my God.
I don't want to break out the Mickey's Big Mouth and Colt 45s and the St. Ives and
get a Foster's
and the 211 have you sleep somewhere outside of your backyard. Yeah, in the backyard. So I don't want to get to that stuff, man. Laying under the sprinklers, in a V-neck and some flip-flops with no drawers on.
When you drink vodka, the thing is that you have to take a little sippy poos. Just little wee sippy poos. You have to drink with the grain of the liquor. And then after a while, you can take bigger drinks. And then after a while after that, you can take big drinks. I think I'll do a wraparound. Wrap around.
So I don't want to be out there like that, man.
Yeah. But no, I think that the Emmett point is a really good one because like one of the comparisons I made to Emmett was like, oh, it's like I'm watching like another version of Amir Abdullah because I think one of the things that Amir Abdullah did that was just so incredible was he made the offensive line better and
that
so and so of course like the one season we have and one of the things that propped up the offensive line was how good Emmett Johnson was evading and doing stuff like that to create 4 more yards because he's breaking tackles or juking a guy, if you will, 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And so I think the other thing too that I will say it was the other aspect of Elijah Pritchett that kind of annoyed me. And granted, he had his own problems with the false starts
Yeah,
and the penalties.
and he
stuff like
admitted that too.
But I think the one part that irritated me than no other was when Donovan or whoever's call it was decided to roll the competition of left tackle into the regular season and into the regular season for well more than like 5 or 6 games.
Yeah.
You're never going to hit your footing. It doesn't matter if it was Pritchett or anyone else. You're not going to be hitting your footing if you're going to be splitting reps in games up to like midway through the season. And so so I think that was like another one of those reasons why you're seeing a little bit more of those uptick in penalties or the opportunities for Elijah Pritchett be as rough as it is. So I think that I think seeing the full season of Pritchett, knowing the fact he's the guy is another reason why I think that's going to matter for that offensive line.
I think you're 100% correct. It's just like having a clear-cut RB1. It helps a lot because they know they're going to be the guy. The line knows who they're blocking for. They know their tendencies. It's the same thing. You've got to create a cohesiveness. You've got to gel, period. You've got to all come together and be one unit, period. Now, you go back and ask any of the guys from Kenny's days, they would probably slap the shit out of the mouth of most of the guys that are playing right now. Whew, I couldn't even imagine what some of those I should have Sty talk to some of them. Oh boy. Let me tell you, seeing him at the character camp, that guy is still a beast. Holy shit. What an amazing job he's done. Whatever he's doing in life to stay in that type of shape at his age, I need to know the secret. So, all right, let's go ahead and hop on the last topic here. And, it's no secret if people are watching this on YouTube, you already saw it. But, I mean, here you go. The wide receiver room is amazing. This one, I'm going to agree with. I would have agreed with this last year. So, I mean, you still got Barney. You still got an Isaiah Hunter. You added Quasi Gilmer from UCLA. Those 3 right there alone. Then you factor in the tight ends. Carter Nelson, Luke Lindenmeyer. Come on. The Calandria's got almost unlimited targets.
Yep, and depth.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So.
Well, I don't know. For me, it's like one of the most disappointing things for me watching Nebraska develop all these years. And granted, development's like the key word for not just the wide receiver room, but anything else. One of the biggest things that has been so frustrating is this isn't the first time we've had a really good wide receiver room. That's been like we actually had a decent wide receiver room last year. I would say we also had a relatively decent wide receiver room 10 years back, if you will. Or even in the Jamal Turner years. Like Jamal Turner, I felt like is one of
Westerkamp.
Like
Kenny
Jamal
Bell.
So I mean, like Turner was one of those wide receivers. I was like, man, he is so talented. They certainly can use him a lot more and showcase him a lot more than they really needed to, And so I think that this is going to be one of those times where you're also feeding into the talent of the players. I think as far as with the wide receiving core, and I think there's at least a window where argumentatively there might be a case for 2 wide receiver ones on this team. Between Ja'Cory Barney, and between Isaiah Hunter and Quasi Gilmore, if you will. But it's just like, so having that I think is going to help, but it's still one of the reasons why, and me being a Broncos fan, I would know it, until we nailed on our quarterback position. But it's like finally nailing on the quarterback position is also going to get the most out of your wide receiver room. And one of the largest reasons why, aside from coaching staff and, what have you, if you will, one of the biggest reasons why the development has been pretty piss poor for that wide receiver room has been the play of the quarterback, and
Yeah.
it's just, and it's not been great. And so when you can finally hit on the quarterback, a lot of that will fall into place with some of those wide receivers who deservedly need that chance to develop with guys like Ja'Cory Barney, because he is super talented. I
Yes.
mean, I think there's a very real chance you could see him succeed at the NFL level, but not because he wasn't succeeding here, but because a coach saw the talent in
Yeah.
him and taken it to the next level because he's coaching him at an NFL level versus a Nebraska level, if you will.
Mhm.
And so, and I that's the case for a lot of some of those guys, like, Isaiah Hunter, like it
Yep.
is also. I mean, Dane Key, I think, is one of the more disappointing ones because
Yes.
I'm a big Dane Key guy. I'm excited he's a Bronco fan or Bronco now, but like he was super talented when he came in here, right?
Yep.
Like he was super
From
talented when he came
Kentucky.
from Kentucky. He had great years in Kentucky. So what happened? All
Yeah.
of a sudden, you start pigeonholing yourself because you don't want to target Dane Key as much because you want to target Ja'Cory Barney, you want to target Isaiah Hunter, which is cool.
Mhm.
But it's just like the whole point is to be, pun intended, a quarterback, to really, feed things,
Yep.
out and, to all your targets and not telegraph passes. And so I think that when you can be that way as a quarterback within your wide receiver room, you will see your wide receiver room flourish, and you will see the development of guys like Barney, Gilmer, Hunter, Quinn Clark, etc.
And I think we'll see some sort of uh I don't know, some sort of thing out of probably Cortez Mills as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that for one,
He's
his
so
height.
talented.
His height.
Oh.
My God. The catch and run he had against, I think it was Akron, for a touchdown. You got his strides and the way he wears the socks and everything. He almost reminded you of Moss. And I think he was also the one that had the one-handed snag in the corner,
That was
or on
Clark
the sideline
during
of
the
the
spring
end zone.
game.
Yes.
Yep.
Wow. Like seriously, dude. I think we're gonna get some production out of him this year as well. And like you said, Cameron, that gives us depth right there. And this is probably one of the deeper wide receiver rooms we've had in a bit as well.
I just hope we take more shots downfield.
Oh, for God's sake, Calandria is
We
going to
have
do it.
speed. So
Calandria is going to do it.
Can we run a fly or a post? I mean, it seemed like just last year with Dylan, everything was dink and dunk. Like I said,
Well, you know
check
what
down
we'll
king.
see.
I
What
mean,
we'll see with
I want to
those,
see some shots.
well, those little slants and things over the middle. What we're gonna see, what we're gonna finally see, is actually throwing the fucking thing with some purpose instead of trying to put touch on every pass. That was the one thing that drove me nuts with Dylan.
Yeah, a little
Trying to
bit.
be such a touch passer instead of firing the damn thing in there when you know you need to.
Yep.
So,
Or a Mahomes style esque.
Yeah, we're over the Mahomes crap. At least we ain't got to deal with that no more.
Thank God.
Oh, I never defended it because I agreed with it.
Oh yeah, it was blatantly.
So, that was the one good thing about him transferring. I didn't have to fucking worry about trying to defend any of that shit no more. It's just like, yeah, you're right. You're right. I don't know what to tell you. All right. So, I mean, let's go ahead and quickly wind her down here soon. I mean, Cameron, what are you ultimately looking for out of this season? Obviously, I think Rule's going to be safe no matter what because they want to see what happens with that 27 class. And so, I mean, but overall, Kenny, I think you said what, 6-6 or 6 wins alone?
6 maybe.
Okay. And Matt,
I'm hoping for 7.
Okay, Matt, you said 7, didn't you?
I did. I said 7 or 8. I think we can do that. Yeah, but Rule's going to have probably his best year coaching here so far, just to get to 8.
Let's end that part with you, Cameron. What are you thinking about, man? What would make Husker fans at least be like, all right, we're at least another year, Rule?
As much as I love JD Pickell propping us up one more time again, saying we're gonna win 8-4, I will do things if we are 8-4, which is so funny. that like I'm saying, like, oh, our best record will be 8-4, and I'm actually cheering for that. Um, but but if you can get to 7-5, just even making a bowl again, if you will, with
Yeah.
that schedule, that's, I think, for me, like the biggest thing. But I think mine necessarily isn't necessarily record.
Mm.
If you're seeing growth and you're seeing development from the players,
Competing.
competing and playing their butts off in every single game,
Yes.
like even for like the Indiana games, the Oregon games, the Ohio State games, if you
Mhm.
will, they're playing their butts off. I mean, that's, I think, one thing that I would care about, in a sense, if I was, Troy Dannon, if you will. Okay, obviously it measured on wins and losses, but were they fighting till the very end? Were they fighting,
Yep.
and stuff where, it was a close game, but it was something where, you know, they played their tail off. I think that's going to be like, the biggest thing. So I do think it's probably going to be in a 6-6, 7-5 season. But if they are playing their tails off, I mean, that also, I think, is going to warrant it too. Because I will say I am in the camp that I think Rule is going to be okay for the 2026 season, just because this is the best recruiting class he's had, and the only way you have to see that is if it's developed within the 2027 and then possibly even the 2028 season.
Yep.
For how they're growing. And also, I think it depends on how it shakes out, but I think it's a little bit unruly to hold it on Rule, for the season, if you will. That's a really rough schedule for something
Oh.
for something that is like, I don't think he even scheduled himself, right? Like, and obviously so that's another part of this too. Is I'm pretty sure Troy Dannon didn't schedule that, and I'm sure that was all during the Frost era. So it's just like holding that against him, I think, is a little bit harsh, if you will. Not saying that he still has to, come out and prove it, if you will. Rule still needs to prove a lot of things in terms of clock management and game management, all that sort of stuff. But it's just, when you can see the fruits of your labor with this recruiting class, I think it's going to go a long way.
Damn, I couldn't agree more on that one.
Yep.
I really couldn't. Yeah, 8-4. Even as somebody like me who cannot bring himself to predict us to lose a game,
Right?
I would be okay with 8-4. And anything better than that, I'm going to be ecstatic.
I will never be okay with that. But
for this schedule,
based on
I'm okay.
We're still doing it. But the standard should be to win them all, just like Kenny always says. That should be your mindset every season.
And that used to be.
Yeah.
I mean, Kenny, you still have that mindset, don't you?
Always.
That's what I fucking knew. I knew it. Can always fucking rely on that guy.
Always.
Because the standard just become 8 wins. We don't want to be an fucking team. We want to be an undefeated team playing for fucking championships and national championships.
You want to know when it started,
I'm
Matt?
tired of not winning a fucking conference championship.
You know when it started? 2018 when we started 0-6, and then when we had a 3-win season. Fuck that. That's when it all fucking started. All right, I got my rant. Cool. Sweet. All right, guys, let's get the hell on out of here. Let's go enjoy our Sunday. It's been a busy day for us. Cameron, I'm sure it's been no, you said you had the day off. This is your rest. Yeah. Let's get the hell out of here so you can actually enjoy your Sunday then, dude. All right. All right, everybody. You know where to find the show and everything. If you're watching us over on YouTube, please make sure to like and subscribe. Really helps us out a lot in the algorithm. Leave a comment if you can. Always get back to you as soon as I see them. Whether I agree with you or not, I'll let you know. So that's the easiest part. Don't forget, you can find us over at thecharacterchronicles.com. Find all the Husker Army podcast content over there. And like I said, don't forget to go check out today's episode from What's Next over on 93.7 The Ticket. Had Matt and myself in there representing the podcast, getting to tell our side of being Husker fans, what the passion was about and everything. And it was a great time. So I guess that's pretty much it right now. Cameron, where's everybody going to find you at on social media and everything, man?
They can find me over at Cameron Parker PO. And obviously, we talked about at the beginning part of the show, I do 2 Bronco shows. 5280 and Mainly Broncos podcast over there on the MHRT network. There's been a bit of a quiet, Broncos type season. The only significant move has been a wide receiver, trading for Jalen Waddle.
Ooh,
that's a big one.
Damn.
So that's basically been a pretty significant move for the Broncos.
I would say so.
Yeah. So yeah, and obviously, as we know, training camp is going to be gearing up here on the NFL side.
Yep.
Next week, right?
Next
Yep.
week. So yeah, we'll
same as my Colts. So
yeah, we'll be gearing up, if you will, for a little bit more of the Broncos related content once that happens. So
hell yeah. Kenny, anything to add before we head out? Since you're a disembodied voice right now.
Shit, stay sucker free.
Yes. All right, we're just going to end it right there. I'm Brian Knudsen, multi-time national champ, former Husker wide receiver Kenny Cheatham, recruiting guru Mr. Matt Sass, and our guest today, everybody, Cameron Parker from the 5280 podcast and the Mainly podcast. Guys, go check them out. They cover it and do a great job. So let's get the hell on out of here. Husker Nation, Husker Army, one last thing. You know what that is. At ease, you are all dismissed.